In the video you're about to watch, I'm proposing that the various parts of the psyche are in a permanent state of dialogue, or if you wish, polylogue. They constantly communicate with each other, they talk to each other, they negotiate with each other, they debate, they disagree or agree. This constant exchange of information and argumentation between the various parts of the psyche, of the soul, of the personality, call it as you will, generates outcomes. And one of the most prominent outcomes is what is known as a double bind. We are in a constant state of double bind. Complexes in Jung's work associated with archetypes, the most dominant of which is the shadow, they serve to organize this dialogue and to attempt to reconcile or resolve the double bind. So the complexes and the archetypes associated with complexes, most notably the shadow, are the organizing principles of inner life, and their main role is to resolve or assuage double bind injunctions on the one hand, and to afford the illusion or self-deception of memory, continuity, and core identity, where actually there's fragmentation and self-states. Now, I've used many terms in this introduction which may not be clear to you, and I would like to clarify some of them. Let's start with double bind. Double bind is an observation made by the anthropologist, not the psychologist, anthropologist Gregory Bateson and his colleagues in 1956 in schizophrenia patients. Bateson suggested that when we are exposed to messages, signals, expectations, commands that contradict each other in an environment which does not allow us to somehow resolve the dilemma, then we find ourselves in a double bind. Double bind can lead to mental dysfunction or mental illness, but it is a very common condition, actually. Complexes and shadow are concepts which Jung used in his work, and these concepts were actually a renaming of Freud's unconscious. Psychological complexes, as I said, were first proposed by Carl Jung. These are unconscious feelings and beliefs rooted mostly in traumatic experiences, but some of them may be the result of personality traits. They are amalgams, they are compendia, collections of ideas and images and affects, emotions, organized around a specific theme. This theme, symbolic theme, is known as an archetype. Complexes affect how we perceive ourselves, how we perceive others, and how we function in relationships. They are personal, unconscious clusters of emotions, memories, perceptions, and wishes, organized around common themes, as I said. Complexes are somehow shaped or molded by how we grow up, how people respond to us, and how we interact with other people. They are closely interrelated to what later came to be called the internal working model, or a theory of mind. As I said, trauma has a lot to do with complexes, and I will discuss it in the video. And so complexes trigger automatic responses to certain scenarios. Jung said, the complex is not under the control of the will, and for this reason it possesses the quality of psychic autonomy. Its autonomy consists of its power to manifest itself independently of the will, and even in direct opposition to conscious tendencies. Complexes affect how we view ourselves, how we view other people, relational aspects, our experience of the world. And so they are in many ways, organizing principles. So to summarize, there's a dialogue inside ourselves between various parts of our personality. This dialogue leads to conflict and dissonance and anxiety because it often generates and results in what Bateson called the double bind, and a situation where we feel trapped in dilemmas that we cannot resolve because of environmental injunctions. To resolve the double bind situation, which is extremely uncomfortable and intolerable, to resolve it, we resort to complexes, amalgams of emotions, ideas, and memories organized around common themes. These common themes are known as archetypes. Complexes are therefore organizational principles and explanatory principles within the inner psyche. For much more about all this, I invite you to watch this video. Now, this is the first of two. The next video, I will be discussing specific complexes, there are quite a few of them, and how they affect your life.